Hey guys, this is Ada. I'm coming in to do a video, and tonight I'm going to be talking about selenium, which is a trace mineral. And the reason I want to talk about selenium, I kind of want to talk about my experience with taking selenium and iodine. Well, my family on my father's side have a history of dealing with thyroid issues and goiters. So way back when, maybe 20 some years ago, I started having issues that I felt were thyroid related. So needless to say, I made numerous trips to the doctor, and they said, we've tested your thyroid. It's not your thyroid, but I had all the symptoms of hypothyroid. I had a lot of weight gain. My face was puffy in the mornings, just kind of swollen. And then I just all of a sudden gained weight, just out of nowhere. And there was no reason for it because my diet hadn't changed. Nothing had changed. So needless to say, I had all these symptoms and I felt horrible. I was working every day and I was driving like 45 minutes each way to get to work. And then I had kids, that I was taking care of, and, they went to school and I would drive to work. But needless to say, I didn't have any energy. I was tired. Um, and like I say, those numerous trips to the doctor, they said was nothing wrong with my thyroid, and they couldn't find nothing wrong. So I guess months later, or as I began to start doing my own research, I end up start drinking green tea, which the green tea relieved a lot of my symptoms. And then I started taking kelp, which had iodine in it. And at that time, I don't think I started on the selenium. I think I may have started later. But just with the green tea and the kelp, all my symptoms disappeared. I lost weight. The weight came off. I had some hair falling out. My hair was falling out. It it stopped and it started growing just from doing the green tea, the kelp, and the iodine. So fast forward, here 20 years later, I started having similar symptoms, but I was like, okay, maybe it's menopause, a perimenopause, and just a host of different symptoms. And given, I felt like there were some vitamin deficiencies, and just burnout from my job that I was working. And I was working in a group home as a therapist, and that was very stressful. But needless to say, guys, this time I felt like my iron and all that was low. So went to the doctor, it was low, and I was still having like panic attacks, all kind of things. So I ended up changing my diet, um, and doing a lot of different things. But I would like to just say this first and foremost, prayer. And so I end up um, exercising more, so an exercise routine, eating healthy salads every day, um, along with some type of fish. So everything started turning around for me. But needless to say, I was still having symptoms, and I end up, doing a lot of different things. But I noticed here recently, and this is what I really want to share with you guys. My energy had increased, and I thought, okay, well, maybe it's just from the exercise and all that. But I noticed when I stopped taking this particular supplement, my energy stopped. It just went back down. And I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so lethargic. And then I would have this horrible, horrible depression to come. And it's like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe this just, going into menopause or what have you. But I felt like the Lord laid it on my heart to start the selenium. I kept, hearing selenium. And so I started back taking the selenium. And this time I said I would start with 200 in the morning and 200 in the evening. And so that's what I've been doing. And the maximum dose, from what I understand, that you can take is like 400 micromilligrams, because you don't want to get toxicity, which can have a whole host of problems. But I said all that to say this, guys, with the thyroid issues that run in my family, I think for me and people who deal with those issues, we really need to make sure you keep a eye on that selenium, because when I say the mental fog is starting to lift, my energy came back. and I feel so much better. But I also incorporated my iodine into my regimen again, which I wasn't taking. And iodine is a very important micro mineral that we need in our body. We only need it in trace amounts, but the Japanese, they take it in huge amounts. But since I'm talking about selenium, I'll try and stick to that topic. Now, this is the brand that I'm taking now, and this is Spring Valley, and it's actually a Walmart brand. But in the past, I have taken the Now brand, and the Now brand was like 100 micromilligrams. This is 200 micromilligrams, and what my plan is to take it for probably a month or two as my energy balance out, and then I'm gonna drop it back down to 200 micromilligrams because you know I don't want the toxicity. So, guys, selenium is so important because your thyroid needs it. And if you take selenium, you also need to make sure you're taking some type of iodine or getting your iodine from either maybe sea moss or your sea salt or some, type of food. But also, Brazil nuts have um, selenium in it. And I want to say oysters or sunflower seeds have selenium in it. But me, just to make sure I get what I need, I just take the supplement. And so, um, guys, if you have ever dealt with any type of thyroid or any type of issue, you especially need it. But everyone need it. But you can get tested. There are ways to go and make sure that, if you're worried about toxicity, you can get tested. And there's so many different kits on the internet that you can order. If you feel like you need to be tested, to see if you're deficient in selenium. But along with the selenium, excuse me, guys, I'm going to reach over. So I may be off of camera for just a sec. Okay. You also, this is the type of iodine I have now. Now, before I was getting my iodine from a KEP supplement. But when I ran out the KEP supplement, I just end up taking the liquid iodine that I have. And some people may take a whole drop of full, but me, I take like 4 drops of this. And 4 drops actually equal to 300 micromilligram, which is a very small amount because everybody can't tolerate iodine. Some people take huge doses of it, for various reasons. But iodine is directly related to the thyroid, your breast tissue, women ovary tissue, and it have been, there have been studies that said that the iodine can prevent prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, and breast cancer because we need it. And so if we're not getting enough, of course, all these issues can, health issues can be a result of not having enough of these minerals. And so if you're thyroid deficient, what's going to happen when you begin to take iodine? It's going to go where it's most needed. If it's the thyroid, it's going to go to the thyroid. If it's ovary, it's going to go where it's most needed, is what I understand. So selenium and iodine together is what is recommended. And now I do want to tell you guys that I'm not a medical professional. I can't give medical advice. I'm simply talking about my experience and information that's already out there. So when I started back taking this selenium, guys, my energy in a couple of days was back up. And the fact that I am going through menopause, I do other things to help balance my hormones as well. But I did notice with taking this, it helps my thyroid. And contrary to what, the blood work showed, because there were certain tests that I should have asked for, but I didn't. I should have asked for the reverse T3 or asked them to check my thyroid antibodies, which I didn't. And I kind of regret that. But a lot of times if they don't check those, the other tests that they do may show normal. And a lot of times when thyroid issues begin to show up in the blood work, they really gotten out of hand. They, it's really bad when they begin to show up in your blood work. But needless to say, guys, I dealt with this for about a year, and I addressed it from many different angles, from nutrition to taking supplements to going to the doctor. And what eventually worked for me is just kind of taking my health into my own hand and changing my diet and eating right and making sure I was taking them, enough the right supplements. And right now, I'm in the process of balancing, my health is balancing out. And but thyroid issues can be very scary. It can cause so many different symptoms in the body, from hair loss to puffiness in the face, weight loss. It can cause numerous symptoms. You may feel sometimes like you have something stuck in your throat, you can't swallow. You may even notice swelling in the throat, which I did. I noticed all that, but nothing showed in my blood work. And if I were probably more persistent, I could have got other tests done, but when I was able to kind of turn it around on my own, I was okay. So I said all this to say this, guys. Check into your micro minerals, your minerals like trace minerals. Meant to say, like your selenium, your iodine, and things like that. Your vitamins. Check into all that first, when you start having different symptoms, unless it, of course, is an emergency. But make sure that when you go to the doctor that you're asking for these different tests, because sometimes it's as simple as that. But I end up getting, vitamin D, my vitamin D tested. I end up getting vitamin B12. My iron was low. Um, and there were nothing major that was found. I ended up going to a cardiologist, and I'll talk about that in my next video, and how taking magnesium can help a lot of different things related to the heart and muscle, because everything in the body, every system in your body need magnesium. But since this video is about selenium, we're going to stick to that. And to add to what I've already said, studies have found that selenium may prevent breast cancer and prostate cancer. And my dad had issues with his prostate. He ended up with prostate cancer. But I know early on in life, he used to eat a lot of Brazil nuts. And I kind of feel like his body was craving what he needed. But as he got older, he didn't eat as many, and he ended up with a prostate issue, I think, when he was in his 70s. Of course, he lived to be like 91, so he lived a long life, but he did struggle with thyroid and the issues that go along with that. So guys, with that being said, if this video has been helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned, because I'll be coming back in to talk about um, iodine and magnesium in later videos. And I'll also be coming back next week to do a Bible study. And a lot of times they're no longer than about 10 to 15 minutes. And if the Lord give me a word, a prophetic word, I will tell you what he told me. If I have no word, I will not say anything, because, I'm not gonna quench the spirit by saying that, okay, I have a word and I really don't. But I will come on and do some teachings. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. And if this video has been helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a blessed night.